The planter and Virginia gentleman, George Washington's identity as a planter and Virginia gentleman was pivotal in shaping both his personal ambitions and his public legacy. Through the building of Mount Vernon, his pursuit of social standing, and his participation in the plantation economy, including the institution of slavery, Washington's life reflected the complexities and contradictions of colonial Virginia's elite. Building Mount Vernon, a symbol of status and achievement. Mount Vernon, Washington's iconic estate overlooking the Potomac River, began as a modest farmhouse inherited from his half-brother Lawrence. Over decades, Washington expanded and transformed it into one of the most celebrated homes in America. His attention to architectural detail, innovative agricultural practices, and landscape design reflected both his aesthetic sensibilities and practical ambitions. Innovation and stewardship. Washington was a progressive farmer for his era. He experimented with crop rotation, improved livestock, and diversified Mount Vernon's operations beyond tobacco to include wheat, fishing, and milling. These efforts made the estate not only a symbol of wealth, but also a model of agricultural advancement. Washington's management style combined hands-on oversight with Enlightenment ideas about improvement and efficiency. Social standing and ambition. The Virginia gentry. In colonial Virginia, land ownership was the foundation of social status. As Washington acquired more property and developed Mount Vernon, he became firmly entrenched in the gentry class. This position brought privileges, political influence, access to elite social circles, and the respect of peers. Washington's marriage to Martha Custis, one of the wealthiest widows in Virginia, further elevated his status and extended his network. Public service and reputation. Washington's ambition was not purely material. He sought to embody the ideals of the Virginia gentleman: honor, civility, leadership, and public service. He served in the Virginia House of Burgesses, attended Anglican church services, and hosted influential guests at Mount Vernon. His reputation for integrity, hospitality, and industry became as important to him as his wealth. Slavery and the plantation economy. The harsh reality. Washington's success as a planter was inseparable from the labor of enslaved people. Like most Virginia planters, he relied on enslaved Africans and African Americans to build, maintain, and operate Mount Vernon. The plantation's prosperity and Washington's genteel lifestyle depended on their forced labor. By the time of his death, more than 300 enslaved individuals lived and worked at Mount Vernon, performing grueling labor in the fields, workshops, and main house. Washington managed this system with the same diligence he applied to farming, but he was also increasingly troubled by slavery's moral and practical contradictions. Evolving views. Although Washington remained a slaveholder for most of his life, his views on slavery evolved over time. He privately expressed discomfort with the institution and, unlike many of his contemporaries, made provisions in his will for the emancipation of his enslaved workers after his and Martha's deaths. Nevertheless, his wealth and status were built on a system that denied freedom and dignity to others, a contradiction that remains central to his legacy. Conclusion: complexity and contradiction. As a planter and Virginia gentleman, George Washington embodied the aspirations and contradictions of his age. He built Mount Vernon into a testament to his ambition and skill, achieved prominence in society, and contributed to agricultural innovation. Yet his life was also deeply entwined with slavery and the inequalities of the plantation economy. Understanding Washington as both a product and shaper of his environment is essential to appreciating the full scope of his achievements and the enduring questions they raise.